We're now in the first weekend of November 2016, so it's time for me to produce another update video for my subscribers and viewers and everybody out there who's interested in what I'm doing and what my company, Reason.io, is doing as well. I'll talk about what went on in the incredibly busy month of October and what we've got coming up in the, thankfully, less busy month of November. I always like to begin by highlighting three big things. So big thing number one, we produced an Epictetus online class that's open to the public for free, specifically on Epictetus Enchiridion. I'll talk more about that in the October section, but you can see the link to it below if you're interested. Big thing number two, that's just the first class to come out. Later this month, you can expect to see my Worldviews and Values class. Some of you may have seen some of the videos from that when I used to teach it for a college. I have put it into our Reason.io Teachable Academy, and it'll be available very inexpensively compared to what people paid for it in the past. That's a whole conversation. But we've got other classes coming out as well. So you want to pay attention to what's available, and we'll announce it as they come out. I'll probably produce videos for it or something along those lines. Third big thing, this isn't really about this month or even next month, although we can certainly have the conversations this month, but it's more about 2017. We're already getting inquiries, and we've already got some dates on the calendar for talks that are booked. And so if you're interested in bringing me in as a speaker, to do a workshop, to do a lecture, to facilitate a discussion, contact me and we'll get the ball rolling and start talking about it. You can email me at greg@reason.io. And I'm always happy to talk with people who are interested in philosophy, or even in some of the other side things that I do, like the science fiction fantasy stuff or the metal music stuff, but primarily philosophy related things. So if you're interested in that, like I said, email me and we'll start talking about it. So what went on in October? Like I mentioned, this was an incredibly busy month. Probably in terms of speaking engagements, one of the busier months that I've had, although I think I've had a few that were equally busy in the past. We started things off with a talk here in Milwaukee, right over at Marquette University as part of the Midwest Seminar in Ancient and Medieval Philosophy. The talk was on proiresis in Epictetus's moral theory, a more technical talk, one that's really, sort of history of ideas. You can see the video for it below. The Marquette people did a wonderful job in putting together video footage of it, so I didn't have to do that this time around. That was quite nice of them. But it was really a fun talk, and if you're interested at all in the notion of the will or choice, you want to watch that. Then we totally shifted gears, and you know that I do this monthly Worlds of Speculative Fiction philosophical theme series at the Brookfield Public Library. So this month it was one of my very favorite authors, Philip K. Dick, and the video for that you can see that as well. Some great discussion. I really enjoyed putting that one together. And then shortly after that, I flew out to New York for Stoicon, the historical gathering, the largest gathering of Stoics ever in history. It took place in New York City this last month. I was one of the invited speakers. I gave a workshop presentation on Stoicism and anger called Struggling with Anger, Stoic Perspectives and Practices. Again, video is linked to below in the description if you want to watch it. And it was a great conference. I got to meet some of the people who I'd been corresponding with. Some of them were the other speakers. Some of them were, other people who I've engaged with, in social media, or who had emailed me or taken classes online with me before. So it was really a wonderful occasion. I got a lot out of it. And then I came here back to Milwaukee and gave the same presentation again as a Stoic Week event. I participated in International Stoic Week, and gave that workshop to interested people here in the Milwaukee area. That went quite well as well. So a lot of Stoic stuff already up to that point. Then we had our online half-hour Hegel sessions. I do these Q&As as part of my, you might call it outreach online with the half-hour Hegel project. And then 2 more talks, both of them out at Rockford University towards the end of the month. One was on the basics of Stoic ethics. That one's not yet edited and uploaded yet, but it will be soon. And another one sponsored by the Institute for Ethics and Entrepreneurship. That one was called Stoicism, Leadership, and Entrepreneurship. It included some reflections on how Stoicism might be interesting to entrepreneurs, which it is currently. So that was all of the speaking engagements. In addition to that, I had quite a bit of writing that I got done, including getting a lot of stuff in Erexis Dianoetike. I was very happy about that. A little bit less in half-hour Hegel. I wanted to get more done for that, but didn't quite bring it all together. And a lot of work and writing for Stoicism Today. As you may know, I'm the editor of Stoicism Today and part of the Stoicism Today project. So leading up to Stoic Week, there's a lot, and Stoicon, there's a lot of background stuff. But I also wrote some pieces as well. And I was working as well on one of my book projects in particular. I've always got a few book projects going. This one was on Stoicism and anger, and I'm hoping to bring it out early in 2017. I also engaged in some coaching, some philosophical counseling, some tutoring here and there in between, and that was, quite a bit of work as well, and some cool stuff got started that's moving into November. What else? So I mentioned the Epictetus class. If you haven't signed up for it in our Teachable Academy, and you've got an interest in deepening your understanding of Epictetus's Enchiridion, which is a short classic work. It's probably the most commonly read Stoicism text, I would say, most commonly assigned. I created an online class with 21 videos going through the Enchiridion line by line, sort of like the half-hour Hegel series, except applied to this text. And not only does it include that, it's got all these handouts and worksheets and quizzes and background material and curated links, a lot of really great stuff. So there's already, I think, something like 230 people taking the class online, and it's a free class, so a lot of people really enjoying it. So there's that. I also did some tinkering around with my courses on another course management platform, which is Curious. I'll put the link to that below as well. And did get some videos shot and released. I got my 6 half-hour Hegel videos for the month done. That's pretty good given how much was going on. I didn't get to shooting the personal videos that I wanted to, but I did also release the Aristotle videos. Now we're working our way through. We started working our way through the end of book 6 and the beginning and into book 7 of the Nicomachean Ethics. So that's a lot of stuff that month. As you can see, I was quite busy. What do we have coming up in the month of November? So fortunately, not as much travel. All of my traveling that I needed to do, I think, is done for the month and maybe even for the year, although you never know if something's going to pop up. We already had one of our events, unfortunately, because it was scheduled so early in the month and I didn't get around to shooting this video until later, it's already passed, and that was on the 1st. I gave a talk in the Philosophers in the Midst of History series at the Frank Weinberg Library on Hannah Arendt, Totalitarianism, and the Holocaust. Arendt is somebody who I haven't done a lot of video work on, but I'm actually a really big fan of hers, and that went really well. Some great questions from the audience. We'll be uploading that video hopefully later this weekend, so you can watch it, and I'll include the link to it once we've actually got it uploaded. On the 10th at 7 p.m. at the Brookfield Public Library. Again, the Worlds of Speculative Fiction series, which is open to the public. Anybody can come. We're going to be talking about Mervyn Peake's Gormenghast trilogy. Peake was a fantasy author and illustrator. He was actually a very talented artist who didn't write an awful lot by comparison to some of the other figures that we've looked at, but the stuff that he's written is quite literally gorgeous. I've never read somebody whose writing was so painterly as Peake's is, and I really just love the story that he's telling through that. So we're going to do that on the 10th. On the 16th, an online event, the half-hour Hegel session, Q&A. If you've got any Hegel-related questions or you want to chat with other people who are interested in Hegel, a great German philosopher. That is on the 16th from 5 to 6 p.m. Central Time, so remember that if you're in other time zones. One other thing that's not an event that I am responsible for, but something I get to go to that's really cool, is I'm going to be one of the attendees or participants at a Kantian dinner party. They have this really cool program here in the Milwaukee area, sponsored by some of the local restaurants, the Marquette, I think it's the Poli-Sci Department, the Ziedler Foundation, and the Wisconsin Humanities Council. And it's a lottery. You put your name in, and you might get selected. Now, I've actually done work in the past on the work that this is coming out of, Kant's anthropology from a pragmatic point of view. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. I'm also doing quite a bit of writing over the month of November. Hopefully get a lot of writing done in Orexis Dianoetike, my main blog, and in Half Hour Hegel. In Stoicism Today, we're actually publishing quite a few of the presentations from Stoicon, which is really cool, and so I do the editing on that and soliciting that, and we're getting a lot of new posts coming in. But I'll be writing as well in Stoicism Today, and I'm hoping to get some guest post work done for several other blogs. I won't really bring it up at this point because I don't want to make promises that I don't end up keeping. But there's some other places that want me to do some writing for them that I'm hoping to actually get done. I'm working a lot on the Stoicism and Anger book because I want to have that finished and ready to get published, hopefully in early 2017 as a great resource. Doing some other academic writing as well, some of it on anger, some of it on other topics, some on Gabriel Marcel, some on Dietrich von Hildenbrand, some on Aristotle, there's a lot of different things going on. In addition to that, I'm also doing a lot of course design work. We're like I said, bringing out some other classes in the Reason.io Academy. And the idea is to, take some of the material that I've been teaching now for years and put it into this online format so people can study at their own pace, on their own time, with somebody who they trust as an authority on these figures and topics. So the first class that I'm concentrating on right now is that Worldviews and Values class that I developed as an online class and then taught for a college for a number of years. I got to keep the intellectual property from that, so that's quite good because I'm taking it and providing what students were paying something like anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000 for. I'm providing at a much lower rate. I'll do a video about it, so we'll talk about it then. I'm also going to be opening up some other classes as well, mostly stuff in ancient philosophy at first, taking the core concept videos that I've done as the lecture material, but adding in a lot of cool handouts and worksheets, quizzes, discussion forums, lesson pages, all sorts of really great resources to help students learn their way through this stuff. So if you like the kind of work that I do in my videos, you're going to want to check out these courses because they're going to be pretty great. Got some coaching, some tutoring, some philosophical counseling stuff already lined up. I've got some pretty cool projects that I'm working on with clients in these respects. People, are now coming to me and saying, "Hey, can you help me work on this? I need somebody who's got a good philosophy background to help me out with this problem, this issue." Some of it is working on particular personal problems and issues. Some of it is actually working on materials that are going to help other people with it, because other psychotherapists and other people along those lines are seeking me out. So I'm really happy about that. That's a lot of fun, and it's really quite rewarding. If you're interested in my tutorial services or philosophical counseling / coaching, link is below. That's all through Reason.io. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, just get in contact with me, and we'll see if we can schedule something over the next month or so. Video work. This is going to be a big month for getting a lot of video work done. I'm hoping to get quite a bit of work done on the half-hour Hegel video series. I'm really excited with the section that we're in now. We just, for those who are Patreon supporters, they've already seen these videos. We've just finished up with the dialectic of pleasure and necessity. I'll be releasing those over this month for the general public. Patreon supporters get to see them a bit ahead of time, anywhere from a week to a month before I air them. And we're moving into this other really cool stuff, these dialectics like virtue in the way of the world, but before that, the law of necessity and the frenzy of self-conceit, all this stuff having to do with practical philosophy, which we don't usually associate Hegel with, but it's some of the most fun material in the phenomenology. So we've got that going on. I'm still releasing Aristotle videos from these core concept videos I produced for the Aristotle course last summer. So you can see how many videos I produced that I'm still releasing them. Hopefully we'll get through all the book 7 and get through most of book 8 and into book 9 for that. And I am definitely going to be producing some personal videos this month. I've blocked out some time for it. People have been asking me, can you do more of these? So I've already got a few topics in mind that I'm mulling over, and I'm going to hopefully shoot at least one of them this weekend and then release it later this week. Other than that, like I said, the third big thing is we're starting our planning as we have to do, when you have a business, for speaking engagements, workshops, all those sorts of, on-site personal engagements for 2017. So if you're interested in having me come and speak to your organization, your club, your group, whatever it happens to be, reach out to me at greg@reason.io, and we'll see what we can do to make it happen. I love engaging with people about philosophy. You can those of you who know me know that I'm very into spreading the word, you might say, into opening up access to people worldwide. So I'm happy to talk with anybody who's interested in booking me or inviting me or bringing me in. That's it for this update video. I hope you have a great month of November. Those of you who are in countries that have Thanksgiving, have a great Thanksgiving. If there's other holidays coming up that I'm leaving out, hope you have a great holiday of some other sort. And keep plugging away at the philosophy stuff.